hearing for general assistance. This is the general assistance for independent ADH 2020 and 2021. Basically, formal profile the general assistance.
Some of us are a little high.
Yes. Any questions about the general system? Okay. We'll public hearing for that then. Public hearing for fire department proposal. What we're looking at is $7,000 to hire a company to assess the building.
It says it right here. They basically assess the buildings, the existing condition, building code violations, the site of the building deficiencies, and structural concerns, as well as they'll do a call study. They'll do a study of our whole coverage areas, trying to figure out where most of the calls are, where the best places for one fire station would be, the benefits of having one building versus three, and just doing cost differences between the two, like what you're paying now, what you will pay for a new building, how long it will take to recoup your money, and response times to other, Pantherville, things like that.
Right.
They're gonna do a plan of three, the way it is now, and then they're gonna do a plan of one, so you can see the difference. You can see where you're gonna spend money, where you're gonna save money. I think as a lot of you know, we've got 3 old buildings, and we got, 4 trucks in each building. I hear a lot of, we need one building. We've got too many trucks. We've got, I understand the concerns, we have a lot of money tied up in the fire department out here. And if we can go to one building, that's going to save you hundreds of, one truck we bought off last year was $300,000. You've got 8 fire trucks. Do the math on that. Like, that's a lot of money. Overtime, if you could cut that in half, cut your vehicle cost in half by not needing as many. Your building maintenance, your utilities, everything that just goes into it. These buildings are 70-some odd years old. They're toast.
But you said that the West Hall is a lot of work.
Oh yeah, that's not the only one. The East Baldwin Station, we put some money into that, it's like okay, but between the West Baldwin Station and the North Baldwin Station, they're in tough shape. Why put money into them when
of course the heating systems and all.
The heating systems are shot, it's just
they're pretty old.
They're in tough shape, and I guess it's kind of one of the things where you need to make a decision if you're going to put some money into them or you're going to, I know what I would do with my money. I certainly wouldn't put it into a building that's 70-some odd years old that's just falling apart.
Reaching out to the engineer for credentials, prove basic facts, that's what they're paying money for.
Right, I think a third, we've talked about this for years, and I believe a third party, that has no, that's not biased one way or the other. Just states the facts, on paper, with what you got, what you could have, and, see what the difference is. It's not like this is new. We've talked about this for years.
Yeah.
I think that's, again, the fire department, the town's run with the fire department, the highway department, and a bunch of different avenues, but we gotta try to save some money here somewhere along the line. You know, like, what's that thing, you gotta spend money to make money, like, you gotta spend some maybe to save a little, like, a lot of money that goes into this fire department, you know, and some of it is, you know, very well made, but, you know, putting money, you know, into these buildings, that's just one thing after another, it's getting old. You know, and you're just taxing hard, you know, you're spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
Process.
Yeah.
Can I address it?
Yeah.
What, you're suggesting that you spend the $7,000 to have a firm come in and do the assessment and give you the two options, either one or two firehouses within the town.
One or three.
One or three.
Right.
All right. How long is this going to take?
They're waiting on us right now, within a month or two.
When would it be completed?
It would be before the end of the year, easily, to be presented, you know, to the townspeople in March.
Yeah, we're just doing a public hearing now, so we're gonna have a special town meeting for everybody can get one. Yes, sir.
Yeah, under the proposed fees, I didn't understand, I understood the $7,000. I don't understand the plus a fixed reimbursable cost of $350.
Yeah.
I can't quite understand that either.
Could that be, could they have to go over?
I don't believe so. I honestly I don't. Because they came out, I had a meeting with them, like confirmation of stuff.
It's reimbursable schedule.
Well, you know, what they do is they say their standard hourly rates.
Yeah.
And if it's a fixed $7,000, I don't care about their hourly rate.
Right,
And, you know, I mean, just when it comes to voting on this in a town meeting, I'll ask the question again.
Okay.
Fair one.
Was there not a study done 10 or 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Do we have that to compare?
I'm not sure, no.
That was long before my time.
That's 4 years ago. Do you remember that?
It was longer than 10 to 15 years ago. Back in the 80s, believe it or not.
Time flies.
Yeah, back in the 80s.
Sure. But that's way back.
I can look through the records, you know, if your dad saved it, you know, it would be in there, but tell me to get out and pull it out, that ain't gonna happen. You just gotta go digging for it.
You know, this isn't the first company that we just, okay, hey, they're gonna do $7,000, go ahead and do it. I looked at 5 or 6 different ones, as well as Danielle, like, with Danielle's helping. They're expensive, like, this is cheap compared to what. And I know $7,000 isn't far off the tree, I understand that's a lot of money to the town like this. But, you know, this firm comes out of Portland, you know, there was some from down in Massachusetts where 20, 30 grand, they thought that was nothing. It's like, we certainly couldn't even look at that. Yeah.
As long as you're talking about the money, where is the $7,000 gonna come from?
I think that's what we're gonna try to talk to about between now and that special town meeting, correct? You know, there is funding in the budget that was approved in March. There is funding there, we haven't spent.
One thing they can approve, but it's gonna take a vote, you can't take that money that's already voted on and apply it to something else.
Right.
You know, the people voted on it, and put a roof on.
Right.
You can't swap that roof off, this is study.
Right.
That's, you know, so that money, if it doesn't get used for roof, will go back into the general fund.
It could come out of the operating budget.
You got it in there.
Oh, there's money in our operating budget, but, you know, that's something, when I came to you guys there a month ago, like, we weren't sure what we're gonna do with that.
They take it from the operating budget, whereas that's in a function of our town. Like any town should come up with more money, vote on it, if people want it, they want some board vote on it, but it's taken out of their operations budget.
wanted to make.
Go ahead, you got something to say now?
I'm here as a taxpayer. I was here a few more weeks ago, and I still never got an answer. So I'm still fighting as a taxpayer. You know, certainly these fire department is totally out of control. That's been for years. Our fire department budget is 3 times, quoted to me by Mr. Warren, the amount Cornish pays. That's totally ridiculous. Money ain't falling out of the sky all the time. I don't doubt that we don't need to do something. But it doesn't take rocket science to know we need one central station right on the end of this building, demoed, and put the station on. You got your offices, you got your classrooms, then you got your bathrooms, and you got everything else. We're going to save a bunch of money, and we get rid of about 8 trucks. It doesn't take rocket science to do that. But the fire department has historically been buying trucks left and right out of control. One of the things, is this study going to tell you that you are spending too much for the size of Baldwin? I mean, you're spending 3 times what Cornish is spending.
I don't think it's gonna compare it to the town of Cornish by any means, but I think it's gonna compare what you're spending now, what you could be spending. Like, you gotta heat these, like, people think that we're just out pissing this money out through the end of these hoses. Like, you gotta heat these buildings, you gotta,
I agree, one central station. But I don't, all the other towns cover large areas. Keith Falls covers all the way from, it's like, it ain't no big deal. It's done, Cornish goes all the way over, up South Cornish to on the Limerick line, no big deal. It can be done. But I'm tired of listening to, wow, we need this, so that we got 4 trucks running into somebody that loses a washer on the back of the pickup. And it's just ridiculous, the party time we're having. So, and it's affecting my tax bill badly. That's what I'm complaining about. So I went over the 3 times today. Then my other thing is why is this study not advertised through a public bid process? Once again, other towns just do this every day. I see studies advertised in flyers that I subscribe to all the time. We're looking for a study on this. It's a public bid. We're choosing a company, and I didn't say that you didn't. I understood what you said when you said, yeah, we'll bid this several. That's fine. I think that this bid process, you've heard it before, and here's a perfect example. When it's just, well, it's for the little boys today. We don't want to do the bid process.
I agree with you, but we have to decide that if we keep it in place, if it does, it probably won't.
I think it ought to be publicly advertised bid process. They got
we haven't spent a dime yet on
no,
anything.
and I like to take it out of your operating budget. That shows you stand up nuts. So, and I don't, I don't think it's that hard to decide what needs to be done.
Oh, no, it's certainly.
As a taxpayer, we're way on the wrong side.
Like, certainly, I understand as far as it's not rocket science to decide what needs to be done. But in the,
You got a perfect thing right here.
The 10 years.
Cut that building right off, you put the force, you build it right there, you got everything you need.
I've only been on this fire department for 10 years now, and I can tell you from the day I got on the fire department till the day, like, how 1,200 people in this town, nobody can make a decision, Nobody, and it's just, you don't get an answer, you don't get an answer, you don't get an answer, and it's like.
Well, that's part of my complaint. I don't get an answer why my taxes are valued high. That's up to me to try to prove why my taxes are high instead of for somebody else to prove why they're where they're at. Can't get an answer, but I complain about taxes. We're gonna keep right on spending faster than we can make. I'm here and I'm gonna be constant at meetings because that's what I'm complaining about, my tax bill. Nobody else, you guys are not listening to me yet.
Yeah, so as I understand it, this is a public hearing for you to get feedback
as to make a decision on what you want to do?
Right.
Okay. I guess my thoughts on that, I'd like to see it, unless it's an emergency situation where there's a dire situation, somebody is going to get hurt completely, that if you put it off until March, if you've got 25 to 30 people here now, to make the decision on $7,000, I think it should be an article in the town warrant, brought before the people, and when they'll make the decision, then they can go forward from there. $7,000 isn't a lot of money to a lot of people that are out there still working, and they're working a couple jobs, and but if you wind up taking an average of the number of people in this room, it will surprise you, those that are retirement age, or in fact over retirement age, so they're in a position where they've got a fixed income coming. So to take $7,000 immediately and throw it away on something that's a study, that there's no guarantee how that study is going to come out. So that's my feeling, is bring it before the whole town, everybody that pays their taxes, they'll make the decision on that, and then go forward from there.
Yeah.
Kind of piggyback on what he was saying, could you explain to us what the process is that you have in mind? There's a hearing here today, where it gets discussed, then what's the next step?
We're going to take it to town meeting, either way. It's either going to be a special town meeting or a regular town meeting. Right now, the price what we see.
At this rate, I don't know why I can't wait to go to March.
Okay, they will.
We've been trying to do this, for however many years, just to put an article in town meeting in March as a discussion article. Nobody can even vote on anything or spend a dime. It's just an open discussion to see what everybody, because there's some people that don't want to lose their fire station. But that's also the person that doesn't give, excuse my French, two shits about how much money they spend. But then, everybody that comes in here, nobody wants to pay any more money than they have to. Certainly. But, we're a town, we have to vote on these things. And versus turn into an uproar like this or anything like that, like just an open discussion on it. An open public discussion, which I believe we're trying to do here. But we've tried for years just to have it, whether it be the last article in town meeting, just discuss it, see what the general consensus is and what people think. This is probably putting the cart before the horse, but, we need to just discuss it, I go to the whistle stop, or I go anywhere, you talk about this, and it's like, yeah, you can talk about it, but this is the place to have that conversation, Out of 1,200 people in this town, and there's only 30 of us here, everybody has a voice and an opinion, and, there might be some upset people if they lose the vote, or, but it's gonna be what it's gonna be. But you need to talk about it before you can go ahead and start spending foolish with it.
Okay. Go ahead, Beth.
All right, I want to ask you, other than the reports that you have done in the sample book that we get for the town meeting, it says what each fire department spent. Have you gone and done any of the 3 fire departments got together and said, we could save this much of money if we could consolidate? Maybe consolidate 2, maybe consolidate 1. Have you been able to get that going?
Well, for starters, we are one fire department. We're not 3 separate fire departments. The way it's put in this town is like $20,000 for each station, and we try to. That $23,000 that's allotted for each station, but the trucks, the personnel that come out of that station in the building, just try to use that $20,000 there. So the reason that we don't just throw $60 grand into a big pot is so you're not spending 50 of it in Northall when the other 2 are only getting 5. You're trying to spread it out equally, but of course, if you consolidate, you're gonna save.
Okay. If that's true, have you done your own little study and written up a report as to what you would propose, that you would like to see in the town. One fire station.
Oh, I can, certainly just sit right here and tell you that's what we ought to do, but it's.
But have you written it up in a report, like you wanna hire these people to do?
Oh, no, I haven't written it up, I just tried to, like I just mentioned, bring it up, open discussion at town meeting, because
Yeah.
there's a lot of work that gets done behind the scenes, whether it's something that gets presented to the selectmen, or this person that just gets, I'll say, swept up under the carpet, and it's like, it's not just as simple as sitting behind a computer. It takes a lot of work and things like that, no different than you guys not wanting to spend any extra money than you have to, but you work hard for that. And when you come in here and just throw it away, you just feel like you threw it away. So it's hard to, put all that work into something to just be, nobody won't want to listen to you. That's why, like I said, I tried to just discuss it at town meeting. If we come to town meeting and there's 100 people here and 80 of you say, yeah, let's see where we are in a year, come out with a report, you've got that support behind you, why not go ahead and do that? But there's so many mixed emotions and conflictions here that,
Okay, well, if I went to a town meeting and you were proposing consolidating the three into one single fire station, I wanted to see numbers. I want to see why do you think.
Right, I can't come up with the exact numbers because a lot of things factor into that. Insurance is whether homeowners insurance or just response times and things like that. It's a lot of things factor into that. And I'm a firefighter. I'm not a mathematician by any means to figure those things out.
Yeah, because you can't figure them out as the fire department's involved in it. That's why you want to have somebody professional coming in.
Certainly, because we tried this for years and years and years, and it just.
And another thing too, is there's a lot of personal feelings about it.
Personal vendetta, yeah.
Well, some people want a central fire station to cut back on costs, but some people are saying, well, if we do one, if people are not home, they're gonna get,
People think because there's a fire truck right next door to their house, and if their house catches on fire, then it's not gonna burn down. I can tell you, I've been on a fire truck for 20 years, and I'm not proud to say this, but I burnt houses right down, burnt houses to the ground within inside of the fire station. It does not. It happens. It doesn't.
Let's see the rate like now, over the state. I think today we can think over here, I'm sure that you can't count on them to.
It's like anything, volunteer firemen, there's not a lot of them anymore, but it's not like we are secluded to an area where it takes you a half hour, 20 minutes to drive somewhere before you see another person or another fire truck. You got Cornish. From this building, you can drive to the Cornish fire station in 6, 7, 8 minutes. You can drive down to the Steep Falls station, 6 minutes, 5, 6 minutes at the most. You're within a 10-minute drive of every surrounding fire department.
And that's something they're looking to do. Usually,
in years past, you had what they call written mutual aid agreements.
right.
Those haven't been renewed in years. But they still, the statute still stands.
Yeah.
But it's like anything, like Standish does well, Cornish does well. Sebago and Ireland, they really struggle. They rely on us.
I know you fired do that.
Yeah. And that's not their fault. It's just there's not, a lot of people that want to do that job.
Right.
But there's no town within I think in the state of Maine that when they have a fire, that they don't call the town.
Right.
The city of Portland has a fire. They get Westbrook, they get Gorham, they get Falmouth. Those are all things you got to look into. Look, Gorham and Westbrook and Wyndham, they pitch in and buy trucks together. You see some of the fire trucks that say the Gorham Wyndham Fire Department. It just,
Well, they also took their station too. Go on.
share the stations, like, that's obviously a totally different animal than what we're fighting, playing with here, but that's still, I think where you're headed.
Yes.
I have another question. You can listen if you want. What happens, you're talking about that the public should vote on this particular thing, and I agree with that. Okay, at a town meeting or a special town meeting, I don't care, except if it costs money to have a special town meeting. The other thing is, I just recently ran into a little pickle. Who made the, decision that no fires should be burned without a permit between the hours of 8 and 6? And after the 6 or 7 o'clock at night, you can burn.
That was a decision that was made between me and Kyle Estes, who's the town fire warden. Given the fire days that the main state, the forest rangers put out, we were in serious drought, and you look and really the only water source we had was the Saco River, and that one didn't have very much water in it. All of our dry hydrants and ponds around here were pretty low, and during the day, a town like this, a lot of times we're lucky if Howard's around during the day. So, if somebody's out burning them at 11 o'clock or noontime, Mondays and Fridays during the week, and a fire gets out of control, it could be disastrous, potentially.
And I called you.
Yes, you did, and I sent a firefighter down there.
Okay.
But I didn't get your message until like 9 o'clock, so that's why.
I saw that, and it was a extreme drought.
Mm-hmm.
So was there supposed to be a permit issue?
Yeah.
If it was,
There wouldn't have been one issued if they asked, but
they didn't ask.
They did not ask.
So what do we do if somebody doesn't get a fire permit? That was a big blaze.
You extinguish the fire, and then the forest ranger goes to visit them and give them documentation.
Well, then that's up to you to take care of that, because I report it.
Yeah.
So that was a decision between you and the fire.
Town fire warden, yep.
Okay. So maybe that would be nice to know.
It was posted on Facebook. On the fire department's Facebook.
Some of us don't read Facebook.
I'm not on Facebook either, but.
Okay, some of us don't read it every day. Just check.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that clarification. But perhaps that should be posted in big gold letters, because we are still in a drought, and if I see that again, I'll go turn on the hose myself.
Yeah, well,
listening to the discussion, it seems like the question is, when do we do anything about this question of the study? And I think Gary's suggestion was you doing some kind of informational vote at town meeting, decide whether to go forward or not then. I think it just kicks it down the road, another 6 to 8 months. And, I think Jason said that they believe they can do it within their operating budget, so it wouldn't require another appropriation for the town. I would suggest that you hold a town meeting, special town meeting, sometime this fall, to get the people to authorize them to spend money on it and get it going. You probably have a report at town meeting. And put this question to bed, one way or the other.
No, ultimately, you gotta look at, you look at that town report, and you look at it like, this was appropriated for the fire department fix. They'll wait for their money. If you're gonna come back to town, come to the townspeople, hey, we had a $10,000 unforeseen repair. I'm sure these people would much rather come here and say, yeah, we're gonna pay the bill, versus look and be like, Jesus, they got $50,000 all sitting in the bank that, could have been this. I don't know, I just feel like I'm hearing a lot of this. I do understand it.
I'd just like to say that I agree with Bob. It makes sense to me to get this study done before you work out the budget in January. And so we can act on it at town meeting with an article on the warrant. That makes a lot of sense to me. I am, in favor of a study by outside people. I am in agreement with Steve also that we have to find places to save money. This may be one of them. I would be more inclined, sorry about this, to trust an outside group
Absolutely.
than if our fire company came back and said, this is what we want. I would have much more faith in that, somebody who I would think was being
Unbiased.
unbiased, and so I would think we should go forward with all deliberate speaking, that, you don't have to go too fast, that if the budget money can be found in the fire department's budget, so we don't have to raise any more money, get a rainy day fund. I think it makes a lot of sense to do that.
Yeah, I want to say that I also agree with Bob and Joe, and when it comes to that age-old debate about centralization or decentralization, it really has gone on forever in all different governmental organizations, from schools, it really seems to be a timely thing. Sometimes people move towards decentralization, sometimes centralization, and no one is ever going to agree with it. So I think that the main thing that we have to keep in mind is that fires need to be fought to preserve life, preserve structures, and I think that not waiting until 6 or 7 months is the best. I think that moving faster and getting that third party, nothing like a fresh set of eyes, where someone doesn't know someone and what is related to 3 generations down the line. Bringing someone in from the outside. Not that outsiders are always full of wisdom, but it just takes that deception that people sometimes have out of the picture. It was a third party coming in. And so, and again, I do agree with Bob, I agree with Joe, and for me, I always think that what really makes people think sometimes is when a house that burned or the light that was lost, and someone that they love, or one of their neighbors. And I have to go off to the people who risk their lives to be able to keep all in the same place.
Consideration, the bid process on it. Like, I guess I did go through, I believe it was 5 people I reached out to, and I did not, it wasn't advertised and things like that, but I can certainly tell you, like you said, you don't trust my opinion, I understand. But this was by far the cheapest, but if we need to, I can go back through and get printouts and quotes and things like that, and that's gonna make you all feel better. Like, that's obviously the right way to do things. I'll take the heat for that. That's on me. That wasn't those guys.
I think I was as well that had the most experience too, right? And did a lot of the other towns in Maine, also in New England. I think they were above and beyond any of the other.
Oh yeah, and their credentials were good, and their price, like you said, their credentials were above and beyond what everybody else were. And they did a lot of work here in Maine for some small towns as well, and their price was obviously, way. When I say way, like we're talking like $10,000, like cheaper. Like some of these companies are getting rid of it.
So just further clarification on where this is going. He does or does not have money in his budget right now, or if he did, it would be misappropriation because it hasn't been allocated for the study. Is that correct? And so you fellas are going to hold a special town meeting sometime this fall regarding appropriating money for that study?
Right, well, the money, what you're talking about, we voted to, the town voted to, the $10,000 went to the right of fire station. He's got other money in savings, right?
Yeah.
His operating money, that he may be able to pull from.
So what's the special town meeting on the 20th, Tuesday the 20th?
That'd be for,
Sure.
Okay.
so we'll probably move to two.
So you can call too. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yeah, Brian, we haven't heard from you.
I missed the first part of the meeting, the discussion about the central fire station on Calcutta. So, with that, is there any future of, like, looking into, because it's all volunteer now. Paid volunteer. Right, but is there any future looking into this building that has housing for full-time firefighters that's paid for by the town? I haven't talked to you. Yeah, no, it certainly would be, because, you know, you're gonna, a town of this size, spend that kind of money on a building, you certainly take it into consideration, you know, call volume is going up yearly, you know, and eventually this town, you know, I might not see it, but it's gonna have full-time fire in the future, yes. Yeah, you know, that's what I was wondering. It's not gonna be the city of Portland, I don't believe, but you're gonna have one or two people here, I'm certain of it. That was my concern. There would be bunk rooms and things like that, you know, it certainly wouldn't be a hotel, right, you know, but you would have, you know, sleeping quarters and things like that. Not that I want to be a firefighter, but I just looking, I don't think you're gonna get a lot of volunteers in the future. Oh, certainly, not, no, it's depleted, I mean,
All right. Yeah. Good. Yes, guys.
Did anybody talk to the other towns as to how that went, that the company had used?
I spoke with the town of Buckfield, that, this company, I actually worked with a couple guys that are taxpayers in that town, and one of them was on the fire department up there, and, they were very, you know, very pleased with them and such. There was no complaint as far as, they did this study, they had one old wretched building, you know, that was very, very run down, and they didn't pay $7,000, this was 10 years ago, you know, and it's no different, like how the guys told me from everything that the town of Buckfield had, you know, between the study, demoing that, the excavation work, the building until they could use it was $1 million. And he told me the same thing, he goes, this down, between the study and everything, they would probably, before, the day you move into that station would be $1.5 million.
So maybe we could find somebody that's a little more current as far as numbers go. I do know the situation in Buckfield somewhat, and I know that they've got a lot of state funds because of the mill shutting.
Yeah.
And all the people that needed an awful lot of service.
Certainly.
They're much larger than we are.
Oh, yeah.
But they're larger than we are. So maybe somebody that is comparable, that's more current, that it might be.
I believe, Yarmouth just did some work with them as well.
Yarmouth did?
They're in the process of building a building right now.
Okay, from their guidance.
Yeah.
It would be interesting to know how they, how they're doing for them. Yeah, because a whole lot more money than Bali.
Let's see, you know, the average firefighter, we pay town on the standard, you know, one firefighter's wage is $48,000 a year. So if you put two firefighters on, you're $100,000 right there. On top of the building, on top of everything else.
You know, I don't believe, you know, I believe that you could, you know, that 50 grand you spend down there, if you were gonna hire somebody, you'd have to hire, you know, most towns go with a full-time fire chief. You know, I think you need to hire, you know, that guy's a paramedic that you're paying for down in Standish. I think this town's fire chief would need to be, you know, fire inspector, or, you know, a paramedic, and that's, you can get that for 50 grand. You know, you don't need two guys you know, right off the bat, you know, it's gonna say, okay, we're gonna have a full-time firefighter we're gonna hire too. You know, but I can certainly tell you, I'm not gonna be that guy. You know, I don't.
You can't hire somebody with 50 grand.
Right.
You didn't have the insurance, you don't have your benefits, you don't have your work
Certainly.
comp, you don't have anything.
Exactly. One person is.
But, you know, build the fire station first, let's, you know, and leave room for expansion at some point. Let's worry about the fire station, not hiring people who sleep in that.
Right.
That still could be 20 years away.
But the town of Cornish, if you go over there and go in that building, the upstairs in that building is unfinished, but it was designed with the idea of when it does come to the point that they need full-time firefighters, it can be framed off and petitioned off, and the room is there and it's designed for it.
I agree with Steve, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
I agree that, with the whole thing, it's just, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Don't forget the poor little taxpayers. But I agree, I totally agree, it's time to
Do something.
time for central station.
Yeah, with regards to the study, it'd be interesting to see how it plays itself out. I mean, whether we're advocating to close the area stations and go with central location. I just wonder in my mind, if you look at Gorham has the West Gorham station. If you look at Portland has Central Station, it has Glenjoy Hill, it has Bramhall. They're doing this for a reason, folks. And when you look at the distance from one station to the other, you're not going from all over the school, if people decide to tear down the rest of the school and put a central station here. You're hoping that 113 and 107 are going to be passable. In a worst case scenario, when those roads are down, guys, and you've got a bright, shiny new central station here, and you try to explain what can
Be the answer. Somebody will look at it.
that maybe.
Right, and that's exactly it. That's the answer we're looking for.
Part of what he's saying is, this study includes the ISO, which they're gonna tell you what the distance is from here, from north, west, to where. That's part of the study. Like he said, that's something we cannot do. And the insurance company is driving a lot of this stuff that's going on now. And I believe it's going to get even worse as we go down the road over the years.
That's what this study is going to do. Everybody has their own opinions and thoughts on this. Right. But this is going to be an educated study that says A, B, and C will do this to you. It's going to take all the individual feelings out of this and make it more concrete, something to think about and have on paper.
Exactly.
No individual. Right.
You know, we're just trained, I'm just trained as a firefighter. You know, I'm not a banker, I'm not an architect, I'm not, you know.
The engineer can come back and say, you need more stations.
Right.
To make our town way up.
No,
He might say, going out there, or he may say, it's fine how it is, keep running, fix the building, relay out like this, will be the way to go. Or he may say, you wait.
It's also gonna be, you know, roughly, you know, it's gonna cost you $300,000 to fix all three. And it's gonna cost you $1.5 million to build one, like, so, you know, it's gonna, the cost differences are gonna be there, roughly.
Okay. We've been discussing this, and most of us agree that perhaps we do need to do this $7,000 study. Do we vote on that tonight to let the study go forward? No, we can't do that. So when do you think you could do, special town meeting?
Right.
Now, that's right, on the 20th. All right, I got it. Brain has to work here.
Do you need a special town meeting if they're going to take the funds out of their operating budget?
Yes.
Not really, though.
No.
We can spend anything.
They've already granted that money to do this as they need.
Right.
So why would you have to have a special town meeting if they are going to do it that way?
I think it's mostly driven.
I think it needs to be done.
I think that.
You know, we're not talking $2,000 here, you know, that's $7,000, but like, I think it, like you said, common courtesy, what's 2 more weeks?
Yeah.
3 weeks. You know?
Yeah,
Maybe it's more prices too.
it's not like it's the end of the world right now.
Yes.
You got the special town meeting already scheduled.
Yeah.
So do it then, yeah. But I think you really should go to them.
Okay.
People with time should go. I said my 2 cents, and then see you later.
Anybody else? All right, well, that public hearing, we'll go to the town assessor position. We've been postponing streamline our operations by
Probably 5:30.
having criminal justice. Darren, you want to explain the process? Why do you want to come up with, just to save time?
Well, something that was discussed when we originally contracted with Walton. And so my question to you guys then was, this current board, or are you willing to put it before the people? So I think it's more their turn to kind of talk and I'm going to kind of just more listen and I'm here for moral support for you guys more than anything. It's down decision. I mean, it's one of those things where I think it comes down to, you know, different reasons in the past that we've had. You've always had a, you know, previous to us, had a contract assessor anyway. But it comes down to the board can overrule, you know, what your certified assessors who are trained are actually advising you to do. And that can be dangerous for the one-on-one board. And, you know, and that can be unfair to the taxpayers. Because you may have 5 people pushing on you for political reasons you could overturn and make it unfair for the other taxpayers across the town. That's one reason, you know, and to have consistency, you would have to have a certified plan assessor sitting in that seat. You know, so there's pros and cons both ways. I prefer you guys lay them out to your constituents more than I do. I don't want to be advising one way or the other. Or on the table is what most people decide.
And you said that we're the only town that doesn't.
And it won't be have right now.
You're the only town that what?
That doesn't have the same thing with assessor, that the board of selectmen still.
So, yeah, so I mean, for example, I got some people, Steve, I want to punch you if I get a chance a little bit later, because I know you have a couple of papers in front of me. And I apologize for my time, I kind of chewed up pretty hard the last few weeks. I'd like to get over and review a few things with it. I'll see you later if you do that. But part of that is, like tonight, I'm hoping I'm having paperwork, and again, I say, I've been way off straight the last couple of weeks, we couldn't get anything ready for you guys. So now we're pushing it up 2 weeks more. You know, where if I'm a single assessor or other towns, I can get an answer back to this person tomorrow. Now I gotta wait 2 more weeks. Right then, I'll get it. You know, and it does cut down response time for a vacancy. It's very difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially with deadlines, I mean,
Yeah, that's for a bit. So, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about this when I was a selectman, and we found that there was a lot of time spent shuffling paper, with not a lot of value added in terms of assessing product to the townspeople. I don't see that as a detriment to the taxpayers or the citizens of the town to go with a single assessor. But I would ask is, how is this going to work? One of the reasons we moved away from the other assessor that we had was that we didn't have a statement of work, and there was no control of the quality of the assessing job that was done. Right now, at least we have a contract. Will we continue to have a contract, or what's the plan?
Yeah, we still continue to have a contract. There's all the other towns we're dealing with, where I am sworn in as the assessor, we still have a contract. So, and as far as that goes, if the town votes
Yeah, my take on it, as he mentioned, is part of the title assessors and overseers of the report. I think, Parsonsfield or Rob is the last one I know that they do go to classes for assessment and town selectmen actually do that. But, when I read this, heard about this, first thing that came to my mind, was your general assistance coordinator. And we sort of stepped away from that after the rules and regulations changing on general assistance all the time. By having Maurice or somebody in the position who was constantly up on what was going on, it seemed to me if you had a dedicated assessor who knows the town, as long as you folks wound up with the last, agreement or whatever, so that it wasn't cut and dry with him, I see nothing wrong with it.
Evaluation, and that would be what would be taken off your plate, if you will, not the authority of that, overseeing that position. If you don't like what I'm doing, then you would definitely, if you'd be going over my head, back to the county manager, knocking on his door, ringing his phone, sending him an email, and saying we need to have a chat, as a board. You still have that authority to do that. That's like with any other employee with a appointed individual across the map.
What's the cost savings in this?
No. Still doing the same job we're doing, except for me running up here and getting approval of the three of them for paperwork.
Still the same. And so how much more are we paying now for Cumberland County than we were paying on Vermont per year? A few weeks ago at a workshop, Mr. Warren told me that he wasn't sure Cumberland County would be reappointed their contract. And I didn't know what you meant by that. I thought we might possibly be going back to still a different assessing company or
Who knows, when the contract comes up or something.
But now we're moving towards this.
Well, it was welcome in, Steve.
But didn't he just say he gets a 5-year appointment?
I think it is. Yeah.
So we're not changing too much here. We're talking about a 5-year deal. A done deal. Just assessor, which I might not. He's probably not even going to be a fan of me when I get back here. So my question is, Mr. Thompson, I'd like to get your feedback, and I want feedback from each selectman. Mr. Thompson quoted me twice in my office. This wasn't within the last year, or maybe a year ago. Town of Baldwin is the most corrupt town I've ever seen. And I want a response from him. He quoted it to me in my office. Don't deny it, my wife witnessed it.
No, I did not.
Okay, then, now we're gonna have a gentleman that lies to you. Because that was quoted, I'm not a liar. Nobody's got guts enough to tell me, I want to hear a response. Why do you like this guy so much? He's got the town in turmoil. I haven't seen any assessments that were fair yet. And I haven't heard any responses. Why would his comments to people at the last meeting were, you get this, you prove it to me. It should be up to him to prove why my piece of property is worth so much money. I don't like that attitude. Telling somebody, but you got wetlands, you told Gary, you got wetlands, you get somebody to delineate it. That's going to cost him $10,000 or $20,000. And he knows that's not going to be worth the tax. I don't like having to prove to somebody that's telling me. He should be working for the taxpayer a little bit here in this town. And not being kind of arrogant and telling the people, prove it to me. You gotta get a handle.
I just want to say, we have an issue with property that we own that's in Spanish. And this was several years ago. And it was up to us to go to the assessor and say, this is why we don't
Maybe not, but I'm still working my 12 hours a day. I don't like people being mean. But I'm saying, I'm standing up for, I heard that at Harris. And that's not fair to us. And this whole thing was not fair. And now we have to resolve the revaluation, and we're gonna put him in charge again for 5 years.
Well, that's not indefinite, that's why we're having this discussion tonight.
Oh, yeah, I apologize. The ordinance, or the statute says, the municipal officer shall appoint the assessor for a term not exceeding 5 years, so I guess we could do something for it. So if we wanted to go with the term of the contract, or 1 year, or whatever, you know.
I'm still waiting for my answer, if I'm gonna get one on why the town of Baldwin is the most corrupt town we've ever seen. I want the answer. Am I gonna get one?
Not for me, I didn't say it, so. I'm
sir,
not playing your
you,
politics.
sir, are a liar.
No, I'm not playing your politics.
No politics. You sat in my office and said that. You came from other towns, Baldwin was the most corrupt one you've seen.
Not true, Steve.
Okay.
Why would I say that? I don't have any politics.
You wouldn't say it in front of these guys, so they're asking you for a job.
I'm not playing games.
I'm not playing games either.
These books are audited every year.
I don't know what he meant by it. Possibly it's the bid process, possibly it's other things that's not followed.
I'm using this as an example. So if you want to check the auditor's report, guess what, revenues is in, what revenues out, you're welcome to do that. And I'm telling you, you got a favorable thing.
I don't think we're talking about it being corrupt as much financially as how it's doing business. I think it's doing business. That's the way I understand it.
I don't, I agree on some bid stuff, but on some bids, you don't always get the best deal on the lowest bid. And you know that as well as I do. Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be running capital equipment, Mack trucks, and Western side. You're using all quality stuff. And you're a smart businessman, because you don't know you got some value on it. So I guess, I know you can buy not so cheap, you can buy cap. And you choose to use capital. And the reason why you do that, and I agree with your reason.
I don't want to get away from the conversation. I don't think it's so on that. I think we're talking about, my question was, I haven't said to you, and I'm not happy. I wasn't happy 2 years ago when I was revalued, and I'm not happy now. And I complained 2 years ago to absolutely zero. My taxes are up $10,000 into 2 years. How can I do? And other people's taxes are down. Why? I mean, I sold everything I can sell. I'm trying to live and make a living in this town. I'm taxed personal property, can't even understand it. And I said to you one day when I was talking to the lady in the office, well, I'm just looking at this. That's why we hire other people. You can understand it either. And we're strapped with this as a business person in town to try to handle personal property. It's like, we're in Naziville right now. I mean, I can't, you're driving us right out of here, and when you slowly drive every business out of town. You can't buy no gravel, but I think you're happy to accept I pointed out to you a few weeks ago, and you didn't catch that. $4,200 from one truck, excise, not registration. That $4,200 is straight into the town's kitty. And I get, the respect I get in this town is zero. geez, you think you could try, geez, we ought to try to do a little business with that guy, you know? Instead of saying, well, let's get it from, let's buy all our product from these places. You know, we're gonna save $50. And then not use the bid process on anything else. Only if it's got, only if he might be able to use the bid process. That's corruption.
You have one penny in your eye, cheap like you.
You know what? You couldn't compare the products. I tried to tell you what goes into our products. You couldn't make the comparison. We blast our product out. It's a better product. It costs $3 a yard right there above base. But no, you won't hear that story. You won't hear the story why every other town is their product loaded on their trucks instead of putting it in stockpile and reloading it at a cost of probably $2. That didn't make any sense to say that one. I wasn't here to try to cost more. Remember in this town trying to do that to town involvement. We always, as a taxpayer, looking out for other taxpayers. My whole life.
Steve asked a question for an answer from you, and you, and you. The only one I've heard speak is you. What about you and you? For an answer to Steve.
Sorry,
I'm also waiting.
been calling the town for us. Is that what you're saying? I didn't know anything about it.
No, I'm just saying, I'm not sure this is the right, I'm not sure he's the right person for the town.
Well, we can call someone county and replace them. But right now, we got a contract with someone county.
No, now we're talking.
Next year,
we're talking about moving it out.
we'll bid it out. Again.
We're talking about moving from Cumberland County. I'm not happy with any of the assessing that I've done. It hasn't been a least bit fair to me. And then when I was revalued, the guy from KIT says, I said, you're gonna go look at the pit, I suppose, yeah, well, how are you gonna do this? Well, he said, I'd like to look at your books first and see how much money is realized in the pit. I guess if that's legal, I don't know. But he did not see my books. That's the kind of person you send it in? Is he gonna go to Joe Homeowner's house and say, no, let's see, how much you got in your savings account?
Just as a point of interest, though, KRT is not a Cumberland County.
I understand that. I understand. Did Cumberland County not supervise that? Yeah, they did.
Just have a comment saying the previous company and where we're at now, just looking at all the property cards and everything. We used to have property cards with incorrect houses. We used to have property cards with incorrect acreage. A lot of errors. This company found a lot of these errors incorrect. So, just a little information, just because I look at them a lot. Previous companies didn't do a good job on this company.
A little bit of information is just, and I know we've talked about this at town meeting before, but when I was on the select board, one of the problems that we had was we just couldn't trust the tax rolls at all. We had people paying taxes on the neighbor's property, we had property, we had no taxpayer identified. So much misinformation, and when we went to the assessing agency that we had, just wouldn't move, wouldn't do anything. And when we asked to see our contract, we were told we had no contract. It was just a word of mouth, good enough for the last 20, 30 years. And why did we change it? So we put out a request for proposal, what we wanted to see done. And the old assessing agency
part of the problem, and, you know, I'm not gonna go to these people's defense or any of the, auditors, assessors or whatever, but part of the problem, and it scares the bejesus out of me, is when you look at the property involved, and when they base your value on previous sales, or sales similar to your property. I mean, people are paying astronomical money for buildings with no basements underneath them. $286,000 for this. Place down on Pigeon Brook Road. They paid cash money, $130,000 cash money. I mean, the rest of us sitting back here, we're just trying to live our lives in a community we grew up in, we love, and we're being nailed to the cross. We go, oh, this one just sold, and every year it's going to keep going up and up and up until somebody says, whoa, wait a minute, guys. These people are here. These people are residents. They've been here for 10, 20, 30 years. We're going to take that property. We're going to grandfather that property. And when that person passes on, whether it's sold or whatever, now it goes up to whatever that place sold. But then the same thing happened like along the coast. You got the clam diggers, the lobster fishermen. They had the Cape Cod house along the water. Guess what? We bought a stake, went up and bought all the coastal property. That fisherman, that lobster, the clam digger, he's got to move out of his home. He lives in Canada, afford to live there anymore. That's not right.
Now, the same thing happened down in Canada. Yeah, Kevin.
I just have one question. He didn't point it that you guys have any more power to change anything that he said.
You want to do that?
Yeah. Or like the Gary's talking about. I agree with Gary. I've been going to these towns in 65 years, I'm not lying. Not for $4,500 a year.
That's it.
Absolutely. You know, so either way, your responsibility that you swore an oath to when you accepted the position you guys are in was to uphold the Constitution of the state of Maine, which challenges you to assess the just value. You know, it's the current market value. So you can take away and rename whatever you want to take away, but what are you going to fill it in with? You know, when those houses are selling for X number of dollars, you now are required to fill it in with something else. You know, that other factor that we've been talking about. So that would be a question I would pose to you as your agent, you know, to advise you. So that's something you have to think about. To be fair to the rest of your taxpayers in town.
It's a common problem all around the U.S. Everywhere that I've been, we've had people being forced out of their homes because they can't afford to pay the taxes. But it's not something that the assessor can do, because the state law tells them that it must be assessed at market value or close to it. And it's a societal issue. And you know, places like California did their proposition, whatever, which said, in the state that they assess value to yourself, and then when you pay. But in the state of Maine, it's pretty much set, and the selectmen are supposed to, as a selectman, they are an officer of the state, honestly, and so those things that they either the contract out of the contract, but also something according to state statute. There might be ways to get relief for people like Gary or others than that. It has to be through the state law. And I guess it's a difficult thing to see. I haven't looked at all the numbers that came up with the last. But it's interesting to look at and see what the impact is on the average taxpayer. But it's not, that's not limited to low ones, not limited to any people are moving in it all the time.
Yeah.
So, abandon this company, when are we voting on that?
The full town meeting.
October 20th.
All right,
So I gotta put that in with the shoreline, because we have to do it 9 days before our town meeting.
Yeah.
And then they don't, if they said that they don't start until the meeting, then it's a law.
We have 788 people last summer. We have 20 people and two just left, so we're down to 18. We need 78 people to vote this. We don't have,
Is it gonna save money or is it gonna cost more money? Are you gonna save money if you hire him, or are you gonna spend a little more?
Pay money for contract, whether it be, pay money across.
With no escalation clauses, no yearly increases, nothing?
Contract,
He brought the contract. But he's in a contract, nothing's changing in power 21 line, it's just, we're taking it off us. And we're not doing that, we're asking the people to go on, not us.
I'm not in favor of it right now because of the situation we're in. And I understand exactly what Mr. Flynn is saying, and it's very correct. But maybe you guys have to do your job and quit spending so much. And quit that in town reports. I like to buy department. Well, why don't we can't keep this buying everything that just runs in.
They vote for the money. We don't.
The town votes for the money, but you put it in the town, when you put it in that warrant, it gets voted. That's why I don't even come down. You can come down and say, oh, you want to, but after you but you go,
And if you look at that number of points starting last year, there were some things that we didn't approve. We wouldn't say, selectmen, agree to this. We let the people vote on it.
In the warrant,
I think you got to miss one last. I mean, just somehow, I gotta do something with my taxes or I'm gonna, I can't survive.
We got a budget committee going, and they'll be looking at it very hard.
Why am I at $10,000? All I got's raw land. I mean, I got a 1960s shop, which I took KIP through and showed them the sunken floor, the cracked slab, 3 inches insulation. I don't have if you wanted to look at my building and compare it to the firehouse, you could think the firehouse was a cream pie. And I gotta get taxed on it. Out of my, I can't pay that kind of money. Up 10,000 in 2 years.
But it has a lot to do with the square footage of the building as well.
I can't get an answer. I believe it should have stayed the same thing or gone down because the building is definitely deteriorated. But, then, my pet gets revalued 2 years ago. Now it's up again, apparently, as I can tell, now I get 2 tax bills on it, but it was like double.
not fair. Part of it's in tree growth.
I need it for a buffer. I'm just trying to grow some trees. And I'm getting forced out of business. Not happy. I worked all my life here. 48 years, asking God to work night and day. I'm not happy.
All right. Finish off my question. I want to know if we're going to resolve the issues we have on our taxes before we recontract with them and this company. I still have my questions I haven't had answers on, so Steve's still looking for his answers. There's a few of us that we want to need to resolve if we get the fair shake, or if this is where we're continuing on from. I want to know if we're going to be able to vote on getting rid of the factor, the view use, to go against him. He's doing his good job, but we talked to you guys about, are you gonna overrule it? So if that's out of the equation, then he takes over, or is it gonna be he's voted in and we're stuck with it? Because I still haven't got an answer on my 50 grand, my basic slot yet, because it went out to 25. So before he gets voted in, I'd like to know if we're gonna get fair across the board for everybody. Before this gets hustled in, and we're stuck.
It's not very helpful there.
Well, we're running out of time. You're talking 2 weeks.
Right. The thing is that it's not specifically them, it's the company.
Right.
Okay?
I wasn't going to have that at all.
And they really don't have the knowledge to change anything because they're not assessors. They're not certified assessors. So they can say, well, maybe we should be able to do this, but they have to look into it. And some of the factors, maybe not this particular one that you're referencing, but some of them are mandated by the state, and they have no control anyway. But if it's just the fact that you don't happen to care for one person's assessing, then can an assessor be supplemented in instead of again? I don't know.
And also told them they have the power to overrule it. They want to, by the people's choice. They have the right to.
You can overrule the assessor, once he voted in as town assessor.
No, they are the assessors right now.
Yes, right now they,
This is
you become the assessor, they can.
any individual single assessor. That's the assessor.
I mean, have you worked under any other assessors, Steve Sandman, I believe he was a licensed certified assessor at the town of Brownfield. I mean, have we searched that out, all the other possibilities, or we just gonna end up?
We advertised in the main times, local press out, all the local papers and state papers and stuff. We didn't get very many people looking for it.
For the assessor?
Yeah.
So my concerns are, just say that there's been a mistake on my taxes for several years. And I'm charged this much. Either Ben's company or anybody else's company, they're gonna take over from where I'm at. It's never gonna go down. It's gonna continue to increase. But if it's wrong now, it's always gonna be wrong. And I really have not got the answers yet, 100% on if it's right or wrong. I'm just talking to myself first. I know Steve has his, other people have their problems. I'm asking myself, if I'm stuck at this, I'm gonna have to leave, there's no doubt. It's never gonna go down.
And any way you look at it, if that's wrong, any way you look at that?
I've actually walked through his house and been all through it with him, and so we did make
You have made an adjustment,
and it was one of those things where legally, I mean, you can go back, realistically, they signed off on that abatement, not me.
yeah.
And the assessors, they made their decision. So legally, you have the ability now to appeal it, which is in the bottom of that letter, which, or legally, that preserves your rights. Like you say right now, you run out of time,
Yeah.
just saying that the Board of Assessment review, you have to get it within a certain time.
So, I still haven't got an answer on my base law from anybody, where it has to be 10 acres to build on.
So it's, so it may come across as arrogant, but it's not. State law and the state courts is that when the assessors have made an assessment, they are right, you got to prove them wrong. So that's where you stand right now.
And I was also looking for to file as many papers as you want, you're only allowed by one. Which I can't even do that.
You get one bite of the apple.
I wasn't allowed to inform that, I was informed that I could do as many as I wanted. What's that, by who? Right here in the town meeting. Which, if it's wrong, it's wrong, it's wrong. But now I have to.
Again, it's the assessment, so if they want to accept them, then that's fine. Typically, we don't.
I thought this shot at it.
That's what I.
This was after I already filed it.
Right.
Before that, I asked how many times I could pay, and it was as many times as I wanted to.
But after you say you guys said that, I didn't say that, so I don't know.
I thought,
We get one bite of the apple, really.
You know, you're going to be appealed.
Yep.
So I guess my question is, are we going to resolve any of these issues before the other companies voted in?
I would say we have. We are not happy taxpayers. That's our job, is to be upfront, on board with everybody. We are not happy taxpayers, that have to just keep going on. We need to remedy the problem before we move forward.
So my thing is, I filed the abatement. He did come in and did exactly what he was supposed to. I got no problem with what he did. His judgment, that's his job. My problem is, I'm still overtaxed for a review factor, my opinion. But it's not equal to everybody around me. And before Ben's hired in or another company, I want to know if I have a chance to resolve it so that it's not this way for everybody else.
You say you're being assessed for review?
It's a factor.
You factor.
Yeah.
So you can see some nice stuff from your.
I mean, I think it's factor.
I
No,
know.
but yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also other pieces of property in this town that I've brought up before that have excellent reviews that are not built on, but they're not in that factor. Right, we don't house on that factor.
That's my question to Ben. Why is it that I can take my one sheet mountain and sell up to $2,000 an acre that you can see everything fully? Now, why does that land is that the same value with Brian and I? Well, what makes the difference? It's the factor. That land is got up the board and I'm making mine. You gonna buy the place that's on the mountain?
But when there's no I don't know the answer, I'm just asking. But when there's no building on it, who gets the view? Only the person that happens to walk up there.
Exactly, but I'm not selling. So why should we charge someone ourselves? It's the same thing as any of these mountains, any of them.
Kevin, how do you know they're not?
What's that?
How do you know they're not being taxed? They don't accept that to be taxed on the land.
Maybe not like this, we bring that to our.
Is that right, that's it? You don't do a huge factor on your land.
It is actually no building equal land, so if it's been missed, it should be looked at.
You come in here, I agree with you, Dad.
That's why you have different land values, that you can point to them. Both of you have the same.
Yeah, well, there's excellent views from.
No, but where's your complaint with valuation, it's on the land side. I mean, I'm just making a point for them, I'm not taking you back, just saying on the land.
My base lot's $50,000.
So it's on the land.
In town, that's $25,000.
Right, but if this piece of land,
No, it's a wrong piece of land, it's got a beautiful view, it should be on there.
like, anybody told me we did not do raw land, huge factors on raw land. Pretty sure we got that. I remember that. That's one of my questions, one of my arguments is, well, you give a view factor on the property of the house, and it's the value of, now it's confused, why it wasn't on land, because that.
I never heard you say that, I remember you saying that there was a bunch of tires and junk on cars and.
Right, well, you get the deductions, you pay.
Right, that was your right.
You guys as well, too, yeah.
Never remembered the land.
So you do put a view
It
factor.
is on the land.
But how do you know that about walking that land?
Yeah, you don't walk raw land, correct?
No, I have to go find out if it's wet, because I'm not licensed as a wetland surveyor.
So part of the problem is like the dog chasing his tail, because when we're saying all these assessed values and everything is predicated on previous sales, the sales field that comes in to sell your house, oh, look at that view. That view has a value, we can get you 2,000, 20, we can get you 3, so is that correct? If you look at the silver house, it gives a number, what they got because of the view, be, if they instruct you when you're doing this, not to assess the view cap.
Yeah, but that's why, because sadly, the name of their job done by ART, and if you don't use the view factor, you don't use view, it's still a factor to the overall value of the land. So if someone's going to pay more for a certain property, there's an extra factor on those that don't have that, right? It's an extra value based on your census. You have to account for that somewhere. Sadly, they use the word view, which brings us to these conversations.
I just want to quote that for those people who've lived in this area a long time, it could be all moving into this kind of land. And he had a great quote that really sort of speaks to this, and it's that deer tracks in a nice view make a poor stew.
Yeah.
Yes, Henry was food oriented, but again, it speaks to a degree about what we're talking about.
Back on what Ben was just saying about there's a factor that adds value to that land. Well, until some of us don't know that land, nobody knows what that factor is. So we get punished for working hard and clearing a piece of land. You know, loving or any other company, not talking to the rest of you. Well, but walking that land and knowing it, how can we put there across the town? You know, when I bought my land, I didn't know I had people, honestly. You see how rough the country is, you can't see it. As I like there, yes, I have the view. I enjoy it, nice, but it has to go across the town equally to everybody. You're gonna add that factor in.
Me, something else that I do, like, having you, other people, to be, people with non-views. You should be people with non-views, right?
Well, maybe your dad.
I think he is. He wasn't surprised, when I was telling him.
He doesn't have enough time to worry about that stuff. But I just want it there across the board, you know? If my 10 acres is worth that, and everybody around me, and every part of town, my nice tail, whatever. You know? There's a view out there, they just cut it, drive right down 113. It's a nice view. There's no house there.
Most certainly, the town hall, and that's beautiful.
Right? All those houses on 113. If they cut a couple of trees down, you can look into the river, the mountain behind them.
So if he went out and hired a private assessor, with value, and he brought that in, would you take that into consideration as to how would that work? I mean, if his value was considerably less than what Cumberland County or the other companies assessed it, how would you handle that?
He was like, market, that type of assessor, how would that work, man? Does the bank assess it the same way?
Yeah, you can hire a fee appraiser, you know, to come in and do an appraisal specifically for tax valuation reasons. Like he's also at that point right now that you would use that going for the water assessment review, not for you guys. You made your decision.
And banks also only do 80% of the value that protect themselves.
But, I do know that you can hire an appraiser to come and appraise the fair market value of the property, because it's used more than just any bank loan and stuff like that. I know that someone I know just did it. I would say that, they don't, these appraisers are looking at it as to what other properties would sell for. And pinpoint tree growth and whatnot, they really want never an interest in hearing about that. It was, and a great road, people just, it's empty now. Used to be, I guess, considered to be something that would put a detriment on sale, but it doesn't anymore. But it might be worth it. I don't know what the cost of an appraisal on about 100 acres of land, house and barn and stuff was $1,500. It's not cheap.
No. And I just had a bank appraisal on, which I've forwarded 100% and you've seen that. There's nothing in this town that my house is in. It's Parsons Field, it's other areas. So you have to go, so these guys have to go and find a house that's comparable. I would just evaluate where it says, the road it's on, the town it's in, not worry about if it compares to the one in Newfield, or Parsons Field, or Standish. You see what I'm saying? They look at it and they have to go find one that's equal. Just appraise it at what it is. Don't, it's.
Well, that was unfortunately.
Yeah. But look at the road it's on, look at the town it's in.
The road,
It's got to have that impact.
well, we got the road,
Maybe it would be great, that would be an inch.
Did the road get any deductions to the property before any property like that? There's no deductions. All right, like I said before, about the beautiful view of the junkyard, junk road coming in, there's no deductions.
And your sales will prove it up, so, you have to be able to show it that one.
100% agree with the high evaluation. There was quality all the way through. Right from the beginning of the road to my house. I'd be like, all right, we're good. Get money on hand for it. But to just keep going up and going up and going up, and the conditions just going down, no services. So I'd like to know if we can resolve it before there's any elected assessments.
pretty high. Paying them out that $82,000 a year to do revaluation, it's pretty hard to go against professionals that they're supposed to be, against what they're trying to, assess that. They're up to date on some stuff that, we're not. I'll tell you right now.
It just shouldn't say that there's an amateur job.
No, it
They gave up to you as an amateur job. Throw it away. Throw the whole evaluation away. Can't because it's already signed.
We already looked into that. The taxes is already committed, so we
You didn't hire therapy. You didn't hire therapy.
No.
You hired Cumberland County.
That's right.
So Cumberland County currently is correcting what we need to correct.
Yeah.
We hired therapy. They had to what?
We paying the fee to Cumberland County to direct what they got to do. Are we paying fee to Cumberland County assessing to correct the mistake?
Nothing additional. No. You reported a fee, contract price for the rehab.
What would we have to do to get rid of that? Give it back. What would we be proud of to do that? So that? Right? We could sit it right here, if we look over it and say, we don't accept the back as of now. Until we review it before, we could do that, right?
There's a value to the view. I don't call it a view tax, and we're not doing a view tax like we did in New Hampshire. Vermont. It's a view factor. So to me, if I get a beautiful view, it's worth a little more money to me than what it is without a view.
I agree with that, with the point, but also, people weren't aware that they were gonna get that, and that's kind of our fault, you know, not looking, Google, so you check in, where the assessment, where you at, and talk to people, let them know. Nobody knew what you back there, correct?
Nobody knows if there was a revaluation, we had one done for 10 years. Maybe we should do a reval every 5 years. You know, I mean, state law says you go to 10. You know, the town of Clinton's in trouble right now because they went 13 years. And what happened up by, they took their homestead exemptions and added it all back to the houses. So they automatically got a $25,000 increase in their valuation right now because they were over the time, the period of time frames allowed. So we're trying to stay within that period.
Yeah.
When I was a boy, we had a wonderful view from the house. We could look across the river, the Cornish, and mountains, you know. Great, we talked about it. It's family talk, conversation. Wonderful. In time, the pines grew up. And, I guess it's about 30 years ago now, plus or minus. We had a family meeting. Should we cut the pines down and get the view back? And we decided not to. We like looking at the pines. And you know, it's 30 years ago now. I can't remember if we talked about the taxes, but I think most of us were aware that 30 years ago even, that Jews, if they weren't already, they would be at some point a part of the tax structure. That's how taxes work. You know, the state finds something else that they're going to say is wonderful, and they'll pay taxes on it. But, you know, we made the decision not to have that. So in a way, I'd ask would it be fair to then raise my taxes because I don't have a view, which is what you'd be doing if you eliminated the view factor.
And also, if you did eliminate the view factor, which I'm not saying, you know, yay or nay, but if you did, every person who's been taxed this year, whether they object to it or they don't, should be notified. And that would, there would be a lot of work to be done. And, you know, I think that there's not a lot of people in this room that if you could cut down a certain number of trees, we would improve the view. I mean, if I cut trees, it would improve my view, yet at the same time, I would see the road and lose my privacy. My privacy is much more important to me than to you. I'm not saying which way to go, I'm just saying it's sort of like a no-win if we eliminate it, then there's going to be an awful lot of work because in fairness to everyone who has been assessed a view factor, and I guess it's at different levels, you know, they need to know.
So if I let my trees grow, my taxes go down, so what would we get at?
Okay. Not gonna view anymore, so it doesn't have the value of what is up, but it's still there. What's still there? The view, it's still behind one of those trees.
Yeah,
Still there.
trees lost. You know, we had a video of 3% trees.
Right.
I'm not tired of saying, we got that those trees, right? We're losing our view.
So,
But I like it.
so if I let those trees come back up, then my taxes will go down considerably.
You should be here value. Yeah.
Except by the time it takes the trees to grow, everybody's taxes are gonna keep going up anyway.
I would just say, the view was like landscaping your front yard. You spend some money on landscaping your front yard, put some nice trees and flowers and stuff in, and your taxes are gonna go up. Paint your house, keep looking nice, your taxes are gonna go up.
the ocean, go upstairs in Denver, look out a little tiny window, you saw water, that went to the ocean. And they sold that house for $500,000. So that did make a backward.
So it's your fault.
They sold it, down Ocean View. And the guy turned around, we did this, go from there. So, that's back. This is 12, 13 years ago.
So what you said is no reevaluations have been in the last 10 years.
What's that now?
So you said that there was every 10 years you guys were reevaluating.
That's what the state wants you to do, that's what the town does.
Right, so in the last 4 or 5 years, my tax has gone up $2,500. So who puts that out there? The town is reevaluating.
Nobody would determine that. How much money you're spending to the schools and everything else.
Right.
So that's what they pay.
Yeah.
School, very fast.
Let's just have it here, if you jump with $500 every year.
We could almost get them right now, after slam with 5 pounds, so I'm getting them right now, you know, my taxes will go up the street and everything else, right? But if you go look at their valuation, it's gonna change. It's no way, you know, it goes right back to your budget.
So my other question was right now, houses are selling foolishly high, which what's the value of everything now? If this country hits this huge depression, are we going down with all the valuations? I don't see that happening, honestly. It's gonna stay there. You know, we all lose our jobs, our taxes are still gonna be right there. So it increases with the economy flying high, but now it comes back.
Values are on the rise
Right, but what if this economy dies? It's happened before.
Yeah, so those ratio studies that are done annually and all the quality, rating studies that are associated with those. So that's actually what we look at. The 10-year, that you were talking about, every 10 years, realistically goes back almost in colonial times or early America because assessment was done different then. And the Supreme Court has come forward and said the way that we assess now basically satisfies that requirement on an annual basis. So we more look at the quality ratings and your ratio study. So you can't fall below 70%, you know, and you can't be higher on the quality ratings than 20. And it all is based on your sales and the sales studies that we do. And so, yes, so let's just say you're not on the high end of sales. I don't know, rebound. I got more when I got found coming up. I'm contracts right now. So yeah, that's one of the concerns. That people are coming up here, you know, the city and buying like crazy, and these prices we can't even. I got one place sold in Yarmouth, we're gonna get it at $896,000, they bought it at $1.7 million. There's no way I can even get come close to that. So it is what it is. So they where it is now, so rebound.
You guys tax them on the sales value?
No, we have tax on what was assessed at the rebound. So there are other towns in past and whatever, like 2007, 2008, that had their rebound done. And as you said, they can't go nowhere. So I don't have an exact example, but it's from the rebound that, you know, instead of waiting till you're 10 years, or that's just easy to budget for, they were doing another rebound 5 years. You know, because the ratios have fallen, the sales have dropped out. They assess what they here, and all of a sudden we got last year because the sales have come down. So it's time to do something. So it's always a possibility.
It's gonna crash again. It can't go the way it's going.
And those are things that, you know, we do, you know, I'm sure your previous did too, your previous assessment manager did too. That's stuff that you don't have time to do, you know, as the assessors, as the selection, you know what I mean? Those things that we watch all the time.
Part of the problem, adding in some of the injuries, of all 2019 very concerning, when you get your next year's school budget. Because if they're trying to come back to some social distancing, and they're trying to separate desks, and they're trying to put up cubicles, and they're trying to do this and that, that comes with a cost. So unless the state steps up and shares in that, if the federal government steps up and shares with that, it will land squarely on our shoulders.
Steve, you must have that wrote down, what we talked about last time. I'm not worried so much about this year, as I am next year. Next year, when everything's going to hit us, and right now, we just read the state's $5 million behind on revenue from what it was a year ago. And you're exactly right there. Who's going to make it up?
I think as a board, we should try to be pre-planning for that and say, if we're not buying enough next year, we're not doing enough. We're gonna cut the budget in anticipation that you're gonna have to pay more in the school district. Which I think, I'm still, I've never been terribly upset with this new superintendent anyway. I mean, he does a great job, but we don't know. That was a good point, as a board, you should say, town-wise, we're gonna do the bare minimum. No, we're not buying nature trucks. No, we're not buying this. No, we're putting a freeze on this. We're just staying tight. We ain't out of this mess yet, like no means.
No. You're right. No. It's scary.
Well, the perplexing part is that every year you look at the enrollment and it's going down. The numbers are going down, but the budget keeps going up. I mean, come on, folks.
I mean, town hall is not growing. Maybe it's just not doing a couple subdivisions. First time I ever remember subdivision since you had the ordinance. And they're coming. People are coming from out of state. People are grabbing every piece of property they can grab from out of state because they don't want to be involved in Massachusetts or Connecticut or New York. But on the range, it's the same way they bought that place. Anything comes up, I would say the person buys it.
He was lucky in this town, but we had, like Joe, large landowners that was controlling a lot of land. And it wasn't being built up, they was being logged and stuff. Now some of those people have passed away, the family is selling a lot, and that's what's happening down on the end.
Exactly, but the taxes on mine, and I don't know how Joe feels, my little 300 acres, the taxes are above what you can get from growing wood. And it's very difficult to grow wood and pay taxes today, and wood's not going up to the landowner, wood's not going up, that's for sure. The mills are in trouble with everything.
When I upset on 120 acres of hardwood, it's not right there. Just that reason. Maybe it'll turn around, maybe
I'm just struggling. I'm just trying to hold the buffer around what I do for a living. And you don't have any angry neighbors with you? No. Just trying to hold the buffer.
So the only other thing I'd like to add to bring this thing full cycle is he had brought up that in fact they can use the rebound or whatever, come back and the final decision is made by you folks. And so you make the decision, say, no, this is too high, we're going to adjust it, we're going to do whatever. And then when he talks about the state, so if the state comes in and says, well, no, it's below fair market value, so whether do they, as a state, assess a penalty against the town, or is it just a matter of when it comes to revenue sharing and whatever, we no longer qualify for that because we're not at the level that state says we have to be. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
You talked about the racial studies and the quality ratings that we're talking about.
Well, yeah, like we said, when we did a partial rebound, like every 5 years or whatever, but then, they always said, well, there's certain improprieties there where you needed to do a full rebound in 10, dropping down below 68 or 70% or whatever, and the state looks at that, then we risk losing the revenue sharing,
You lose your, reimbursement, so homestead reimbursement, you lose your bad reimbursement, you lose that, if you fell well down below the 70.
So that's what we're up against here, right? I mean,
No, you're not closer, after we got up to 100, you were already certifying that over 100.
yeah.
So you're at 100, so that's not an issue.
So are you able to table this decision that you're talking about until he gets an answer? Is that what, that's what we are at, but you didn't want to make a decision until you get an answer on your.
People can still file, they can still on February 28th of next year, which, and we're also able to, get one bite of the apple, before.
Yeah, that's my question, I guess.
Are they okay to override that as well?
You'd have to, again, that's my question, and we're making sure in the process. So I don't know what legalities are, say consult your attorney, I don't know, you've already made a decision, and it's already passed the tax collector. New ground for me. So we do have to, go back and repeal the decision that you already voted on in the past. Well, I don't know, I would say consult your attorney, I don't know the answer to that. You've already made it.
You didn't go to the deal board.
His next step is to his next step there. His next step there, not with you. So now you're traveling in a different area than what I can advise you on and say, consult your attorney. At that point. As far as assessment goes, his next step forward is assessment review.
Is there any cost to him for that process?
Oh, I know. I mean, I don't know, no papers.
This will now be done 90 days before town meeting, so that it will beyond that, I can't wait for them to keep that in mind as well. The vote has to be 90 days before town meeting, they, done, and everybody, it was done, so we have to come in and do it.
Yeah, we just, I think that's the point, is that you're going on Anthony's, legal assessment that you have to do this, get a vote of 10% of people voted. It has to be prior to the town meeting. Well, I would say that, well, they really can't turn around.
I think it doesn't matter what the outcome is, the decision is. I think you're on year 3 of your contract with county anyway, if I remember correctly. So I think you're better right there.
The 20th that expires,
That's what it is.
20, I'm sorry.
For county and every regional. The conversation we have about the regional.
Are we gonna hold off time until you answer these people, or are we gonna?
Hold up to the answers. Yeah, okay. You know that.
worried about the house. Never been able to do that. She's got a mess now. My house, I get down, $1,500. They're out of business now. You let go of one, he said, she had no business, no problem. If it's made it in the house, who that? Somebody will come in. You know, they visit someone. But you know, whoever we hire, if we leave this, they get insurance, yeah, they just can't find something else. Right. The trees are down. Yeah. I need one she can take the compromise on the vision. She's complaining that they're all over the way. The trees are going off above. There's a wind just set across. Right? I don't know. Yeah, I'll certainly get another one. No, you said. No, that's not. Yeah. Soon as I can find something. Ryan should be able to kind of go on his own. She's worried about people. Yeah. That is the family Bible. Sounds like a good day. Tree down damage in the road crew or it's one beach? One beach. She got asking for how to get more things in the town straight away. I was next. So I thought,
I used to call Mark on that one. Our insurance goes.
Yeah. You gotta go with the whole can of worms. We're trying to do the right thing, these trees. All right, all business. Reminder, planning board meeting, public hearing, October 8th, p.m. Wednesday, Monday, October 12th. Anything else? All right. Does Rocco Leo have a occupancy permit for that building?
He's been kind of, vacation would be for about a half, 2 months, I think he moved in the house now, he's got the plumbing done to the point that it's about time that he's, sit down. Yeah. He doesn't have one right now, no. He's ready for a checkup, yep.
Yeah, it was a couple weeks ago, behind school bus, I dropped off a kid there. My sister seen him, kid on the bus. Yeah, I don't look back, you don't say anything.
No,
Bob?
I'm just saying.
When was the last time you talked to Fred and Larry?
I just saw something tonight.
Got one? No, he's not. You got one?
He's not gonna do it?
No. No, he's got some issues, stuff he's here for
Do we have a board? And you want one more? West, Cliff, Birch, or one more? Bruce? Well, it was, but then if that paper you had it said that, you know, if there's any part of the town, you couldn't be on that board. The one you got from, what, MMA or whatever it was you passed out. When you was here that week. I can do it, I'll do it, but I just wanna make sure that as the board, you guys are comfortable, maybe in on the budget.
I can check it out. I think you have to be on official, you're not. If you require it, it might be a con, I can check.
Yeah, I'm gonna call. Well, plans.
Yeah. Maybe just one sentence in it that said something like that, and then what do you consider official, sworn in or not?
Yeah.
So. Let's face that fact right up front before we jump into it. Okay. Take a look at it, make sure it's all legal.
You go on the 10.
No, I just wanted to say, I think you guys showed great patience during the public hearings. Thank you.
That's it. Bruce, man.
All set?
Yeah. I'll stay on phone call. You know, pretty soon, any couples, or? Just have to tell people about the little stuff.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
doing the wrong thing with the, messages.
You have to knock them upside out there.
Just had a boat over there, flopped over themselves.
What?
A boat flopped over up there.
Really?
Yeah.
How's that? Don't bad.
Well, something was in the photo on it.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
They have not, they think they're coming tomorrow, they said a Wednesday, so I believe it is tomorrow, he's coming. Yes, they're gonna be closing out the car cover, so they're gonna be testing the water before the treatment system. They're gonna provide us with the results.